So I've got a basic techno loop at the moment, consisting of a kick, hats, and an FM synth part. So as you can hear, the synth is completely dry and definitely needs some reverb to help it sit in the mix. Let's solo the synth part and have another listen. Okay, so there are two ways of achieving a dark reverb sound. The first of which is by adding a reverb plugin as an insert on the channel. So let's use Ableton's Reverb. As you can see, in its default mode, it's not sounding how we want, with the high frequency information clouding the reverb somewhat. If I turn the wet to 100%, then this will become apparent. You can really hear the high frequencies of the transients of the synth sound that are really present in the reverb. So to remove these, we can use the filtering options on the plugin itself. So firstly, I'm just going to adjust the dry, wet and the reverb length to taste. Okay, so now we've got a nice long reverb tail that fills the space well. So it's time for some filtering. I'm going to come over to the input processing section and adjust the high frequencies, and as I play, you'll be able to hear the effect. So I went a bit too far there and the sound became a bit dry, but I corrected this at the end. So let's listen to this in context with the other elements. I can also use the dials here to balance out the early reflections with the diffusion. The early reflections are the echoes which reach a listener's ear first and give a sense of the size of the room. And a higher diffusion value will result in more dense echoes, creating a washed out reverb effect. And this is kind of what I'm after, so let's balance these to get the desired effect. Okay, so that's sounding pretty good. Note that I also tweaked the scale parameter of the diffusion network. Turning this up results in a darker sound. For more control, I can use the reverb on a return and send the signal from my synth part to this bus. So let's copy the reverb we had onto a return and make sure to turn it to 100% wet. And then we need to make sure we're sending signal from our synth channel to the reverb. I'm going to turn the send value all the way up and use the fader on the return channel to control the amount of reverb. So what we can do here is add an EQ before the reverb to control which frequencies from the synth are going to be passing through the reverb. I can remove the high and low end for a cleaner reverb sound and EQ out any unwanted resonances as well. So let me show you this in action. For even more control, I can also add a compressor at the start of the chain to catch any transients from the synth. Transients contain a lot of high frequency information, so we can just duck these slightly to maintain a dark reverb sound. So let me show you this now. Okay, so let's listen to that in context with the rest of the track. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that reverb sound.